Hello, my name's Artemis, and it's not difficult to take a brief glance around this fucking cesspool of an internet and see that often rational debates and discussions are almost impossible and constantly devolve into flame wars that engulf any sense of logic and rational thought.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that. That's a totally polarised view that doesn't take into account anyone else's fucking thoughts or feelings, and that is completely bullshit that you would take up that standpoint considering the fact you're a fucking furry. So it's not as if your opinion even fucking matters. And plus, I've heard some shit that I've just made up in my head, but I'm going to believe as fucking gospel that you actually love PG tips. So it's about time I think we fucking ignore what the hell you're saying just because you're a dog, and we should just cancel fucking Artemis!
Okay, I understand usually we're a bit more subtle about proving our point and illustrating a point like that, but I guess today we're just going to jump the gun, right? So, fuck it, let's just go straight into the video. This is where we're going to talk about arguments and debates and discussion and how when you're doing it online it is fundamentally a flawed concept and not worth getting into.
Fucking leftist commie snowflakes.
Now, to start things off, I will say that I honest to God believe that there are some issues that people are just never going to change their mind on. And it is almost impossible to change your view, your belief in that matter, if you are incapable of seeing it as anything other than the absolute truth.
For instance, Dorset tea is the god tier tea. It is a stone cold fact that needs no challenging, but I do appreciate that not everybody is going to agree with.
Precisely, and when you have things that are so deep-rooted in people, you have to figure out if there is actually any point in starting that debate at all.
Certain subjects such as gun control, religion, political views, abortion, LGBT rights, they're all such heated, pointed things in people's heads that no real amount of discussion, online at least, is really going to change anybody's mind, especially if they really don't want to change their mind.
And while I certainly believe that some dangerous viewpoints should always be challenged, it kind of has to be in a way that's actually going to matter and make a difference. I mean, arguing about trans rights with some ultra-conservative 50-year-old slice of gammon on the internet is never going to change either of your minds or improve your day. It's just going to piss you both off and you're not going to get anywhere.
But that's not to say that it isn't fun to tear apart their arguments with, you know, logic and evidence, and hell, if you can point out their fucking hypocrisy, then that's just magic.
But how is it that these assholes manage to shoot down the argument and get away with their bullshit viewpoints, huh? Well, the first method that springs to mind is a very simple one, but it stood the test of time. If you can't discredit the argument itself, then discredit the person presenting it to you.
All too often the debate becomes more about taking shots at the person having that argument than the argument itself, and they will just seek to continue to discredit the person making the points that challenge their own viewpoints, because it's easier that way, and hell, if they have to get personal, they fucking will.
Just have a look at this Greta Thunberg issue that's been going on. This 16-year-old is taking it upon herself to take a stand to try and fight climate change disaster. And people hate the fact that some little teenager is actually putting more fucking thought and effort into it than our elected officials. I got so angry I couldn't even say the word. So they've just started to criticise her, even going so far as to criticise her for being Aspergic. Kind of fucking inhuman cunt has to draw on something like that just to discredit a climate change debate.
Absolute fucking scumbags, but it detracted away from the point she was trying to make about climate change and how we need to, you know, bring forth some action about that. It took all of the attention away from that, and it suddenly made it about her. She was the story, she was the person who was being reported on because of the criticism she was facing, and then you can also report on the backlash from the criticism she was facing, on how everybody has reacted to it, and suddenly the actual point of the discussion is lost in just sensationalized crap.
It goes beyond that as well. There are in fact many different routes that people can partake in to discredit an argument, which we shall now segue to. Sometimes it doesn't matter how well balanced you can argue a point, how reasonable you can make it, how much evidence you can link towards it to support your argument, or how scientifically proven it has been to be fact. There are still going to be people that will completely disregard all of that in favour of some other unrelated thing because it fits their confirmation bias. And Yes, I will say that you need to go and watch Spin's video on confirmation biases and why they are so fucking dangerous, because that is where I got the inspiration for this point, and he is a master of describing it. There will be a link below, and I will shamelessly plug him here. Here he is, this is Spin. Go watch his channel and go subscribe to it and watch that video. You're gonna love it. Also, you're welcome, Spin.
They have already made up their mind, and they will only accept evidence that falls in line with what they know in their head to be true. And they will shoot down anything that challenges that, even if it flies in the face of peer-reviewed scientific fact.
Now, I could list a myriad of examples here because they're dotted all over the place, but I do think that the biggest one that stands out, I should say, is the anti-vax campaign. Now, this whole anti-vax thing that vaccines cause autism is so thoroughly debunked and destroyed and proven to just be bullshit that it's not even a joke anymore. It's just scary that people actually still believe it. But you can't say that to the anti-vaxxers because they will turn to any goddamn shred of fucking so-called evidence just to help prove their bullshit, bigoted, tiny little minds.
It's the same reason climate change deniers are so fucking prevalent. You always hear things like, how come the winters are so cold if the planet's supposedly getting warmer? And what if it's just part of a natural cycle? Oh, I don't think carbon is even all that bad. The sort of shit people will use to discredit stuff, to just continue on with their fucking lives, is so fucking outrageous sometimes. I honestly think it's satire. It's depressing when you learn it's not.
But none of this ever matters to them anyway. These arguments always go the same way as Danny DeVito in Matilda. I'm right, you're wrong. Add repeat forever. Now, so often these debates online are treated almost like public performance. Like, you're not debating one person at all. You're both trying to curry favour with an audience that is going to be watching it. That is the nature of social media, after all. So, a lot of the times it comes down to not so much, this is the point I have, can you disprove it, but more, listen to this flashy little thing that I've said and this biting insult about you because, hey, that's funny and that will gain people on my side.
If the facts don't favour you, or even the entire point of what it is you're saying doesn't favour you, or hell, if you're just saying some shit for no real reason, then just throw in some nice little phrases, some little insults here and there, and it won't really matter what you're saying, because the way you're saying it, far more important.
And one of the examples I can point to on this one is a very broad statement I've heard many times when I speak about such things such as American gun control, which is very simple. You can't really have an opinion on gun control, you're European. Now, first of all, as of Halloween, there's a good chance I won't be European anymore, so get your facts right. Second of all, that does not discredit anything I have to say on gun control. In fact, let's have a little flashcard. Let's have a little bit of fact about certain European gun control laws that have been proven to work, shall we?
And now, we're not going to turn this into one huge debate in gun control, because honestly, it just feels like you can't even say the words without a million people climbing over the fucking fence in both directions to start a war about the entire thing. I'm just using that to illustrate that perhaps, maybe, the whole "you're a European, your opinion doesn't matter" isn't true, when some countries in Europe are pretty switched on and knowledgeable about this stuff. That's the point I'm making. Calm the fuck down.
No, exactly, and I am personally no expert on such things, so, you know, as of myself, maybe perhaps I don't have all of the facts needed to debate this point 100%, but the mere fact that you're willing to disregard anything I have to say on the subject just because of where I live, where I was born, is fucking ridiculous. Holy shit. Here's one of my favourite ones. When you've started to get into a fight and you've started to realise, oh shit, maybe I'm not going to win this. Maybe this isn't going to work out the way I wanted it to. They're not going to back up. Oh god, they're linking evidence and shit. What am I going to do? Well, what you're going to do is just bring in something completely fucking unrelated and try and attach it to the point that they cannot disprove, and just make the entire thing a confused mess of dissolved issues that don't actually fucking matter to what you're originally discussing.
Often seen with political views, people are more than happy to just bring in extra shit. Okay, that point that I was arguing about is actually wrong. We'll just bring in another one. I won't deal with the fact that that was wrong. We'll bring in another one. For instance, Brexiteers voted for Brexit to stop the immigrants stealing our jobs. But when you point out that immigration is actually higher from countries outside of the EU than within it, and suddenly it's not about immigration anymore, is it? It's about a time the country stood on its own 2 feet. We survived 2 world wars. We can stand on our own. Because apparently we have patriotism, but only when it suits us.
Who cares about the future of our country when so many Brexiteers pop a Viagra to fetishize about the past? And hell, what if the young'uns keep bringing up good points and keep proving that maybe perhaps leaving with no deal could completely destroy this country? Then fuck it. Why don't we just bring out the old cannonball of they're all entitled snowflakes who want everything handed to them? Which honestly is fucking bold of them to say, considering the TV license shit.
It's truly the mark of someone who has realised that they have lost a debate. Hell, they might, and this is very rare, but they might have even conceded the point and realised that maybe, just fucking maybe, they didn't have things 100% correct. But they won't be able to let it go. This is the sign of them just clutching at straws. To just grab anything they can, to just hope to God they can just shout you down, and the argument will stop and they don't have to face up to the reality that they might actually be fucking wrong.
Now I should point out that not every argument and debate and discussion online is going to follow these little rules, and it's not always going to go down like this, so don't jump into things as if it's always going to be a fight. And yes, you should seek to help people, to help educate them about the development and evolution of issues that have changed just from what they used to be, but maybe be aware that this is probably what it could devolve into. Be aware that this is what you could be facing, and also, more importantly, be aware that this is what you might end up drawing on. If you do, don't. It's bad. Just because you're doing it for right reasons doesn't mean it's still not a bad thing. But there we go. There's me ranting, and him, obviously, but who cares about him? Ranting a little bit about the shit way that we discuss things online. I doubt any of it is new to anybody, and I'm sure because I mentioned the words American gun control, I can look forward to a shitload of comments in the comment section, but fuck it. I have an opinion, you have a differing opinion. That's the way the world works. If you want to tell me I'm wrong, well, you can waste your fucking life that way, because I don't read shitty comments like that anyway. Bye.